Hey, sorry. Hey, everybody. It's Erin Reed from Erin Reed Makes, and welcome to my channel. We are streaming live both on Craft Express and Erin Reed Makes YouTube and Facebook channels. And welcome. Today, we're going to do all things sublimation, specifically on cheese and wine boards. They're going to be so cool, and it's all with a little bit of a Thanksgiving theme to get ready for all the happy holidays and gatherings coming up. Welcome to the show. So welcome everybody. I cannot wait to show you all the cool stuff. So first, let me just flip my camera over and let me show you what these wine and cheese board blanks look like. Now, these are ones I have already sublimated and they are so cool. Just take a look at this. I love it. This is the cheese board that is already in place. And if you have a glow forge or any other really cool, etching, or you'd like to do wood burning, the back side is perfect for that. The front side, which is the place where you're going to be cutting your cheese and so forth, that is perfectly ready to go for sublimation. So we're going to actually do another version of a beautiful watercolor pumpkin, and heads up, all of the watercolor pumpkins we are going to be sublimating today are free files you can download on my website. And let me show you what they are. Let me get you the picture. So here are all of the watercolor pumpkins we're going to be playing with today. Plus, we're going to do one where we're going to play with some ink blending. It's going to be really cool. But these are really simple, free files you can use with your sublimation printer, of which you can get all those supplies over at Craft Express. This is the other beautiful wine and cheese. This is the wine and cheese board. Nuts. This is just the plain cheese board, and it's got a beautiful ceramic topping. I just love this. I can't wait to give this. We're going to have a big family get together coming up, and I cannot wait to give one of these to some of the people that we're going to be going to. There's little gifts we're going to give away. So that's the point of this, is these are like hostess gifts. If you're going to go to somebody's Thanksgiving, or you're going to go over there for drinks or something like that, you can take them a wine and cheese board that you've made just for them for the holidays. We're hitting Thanksgiving, but stay tuned because I'm going to be doing some reels / shorts / TikToks, doing the same idea of them, but all Christmas vibe with the wine and cheese board. So make sure you stay tuned to those coming up later this month. But let's get back to the Thanksgiving themed ones. Okay. Hi, Debbie. Hello, hello. So this beautiful wine and cheese board, this is a glass cover, and you actually sublimate on the white side, which is really pretty. And then on the flip side is the glass. This is a tempered glass, and this is all washable, which is wonderful. And you can really see that beautiful image coming through. Isn't that gorgeous? And on the inside, you have a really cool set of gifts that go along with that. You have your wine stopper that goes in the top of your wine bottle. You have your wine opener. I know a lot of them are screw tops, but you still come across a regular old, wine opener where you have to open it up. So here you have the screw. You even have a little knife on the end, because sometimes you have to break that seal on the cork, around the cork. And then you have a little opener right there. So you get your wine bottle opener. You get a little cheese fork, which is adorable. And then also you get your little cheese knife. And this cool little thing right here actually goes on the top of the wine bottle. So when you're pouring, it catches all the little dribbles. And then this is just foam in here that you can clean. So it's really cool. So this comes with this set. This is all one set. Let me put this back on. Da-da-da. I love this. It's all really, really cool. Okay, so first thing, in order to get from the blank, so let me show you what it looks like when you first get in the box. We're going to do the wine and cheese to begin with. Hi, everybody. We got so many lovely people on. So when you first get your wine and cheese boards, you open it up. They are going to be coated in plastic, and it comes looking just like this. So we are going to take this one and go from here to here. All right. So the first step we're going to have to do in order to get ready to sublimate is we're actually going to turn on our heat press. So you don't have to use anything. The amazing Craft Express heat press is awesome. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this on, and to turn it on, you push the button until it pops on. Now I have already set the temperature to be a bit higher. It's going to go up to 400. So it's got to get up to that. And I've also set the timer on this to be about 2 minutes. I have found that, I'm just going to move this off to the side while this heats up. It'll beep at me when it's done. I have found that the cheese boards, and all the information is on the website at Craft Express, and all the links are down below, so you guys can go check that out. but the temperatures and the times are all listed on the website. So for these cheese boards, because it's glass, it takes a little bit longer. I found about 4 minutes, 3 to 4 minutes is about good. So I'm going to do 2 rounds of it's almost a 2-minute timer at about 400 degrees for both cheese boards that we're going to be doing. And it works great. And we're going to be using sublimation paper that has been printed on a sublimation printer. So let's get all this stuff out. Let me show you. So let's open up our package. So this beautiful cheese board comes with all this. Now you can go through, just to show you guys, I'm going to quickly hold. You can also do all of your wood burning if you want to on the back side. You know, it's perfect for all of those things. Or you can just leave it beautifully plain. There's nothing wrong with that. So this is what the board looks like when you first get it. It's all nicely wrapped so it won't break in transit. And all of your little pieces are also nicely wrapped, so you don't have to worry about them getting damaged. We are just going to be working with this piece. The top part is your tempered glass. And just to show you a comparison, this is what it looks like, when you first get it. And this is what it looks like after you've sublimated on it. It's really pretty. Now, we're actually going to sublimate on the coated side. This is the poly-coated side. It has a white finish. But because it's glass, it sees through, which is so cool. So here is the poly-coated side. We are going to do our sublimation on. Hope everybody's having an amazing day. Did everybody go out and vote today? Hopefully so. Hopefully so. I have not yet. I had to finish my live first, getting all prepped. So these are the other 2 images that you are going to get in that free file. You're going to get both a PNG and also a PDF form. So if you don't like the size of the PDF, those are the 4 images, you can take the PNG and you can size it all you want. All you have to do is just open up, Google file, drop the PNG file, and then size it up, size it down. So you don't have to use it for the wine and cheese boards. You can use it for whatever product or project you want to do. You can make it really tiny. You can blow it up and make it really big. You can have a ton of fun. And then all you have to do is just print it off on your sublimation printer and do exactly what we're going to do next. And tons of images are available on my website in the freebies. So all of them would work as long as you print them on the sublimation printer. Regular old inkjet printers do not work for what we're doing. So that's how you get these really cool images, is with that cool printer. Okay. Now, to make sure we get this lined up just right, this is actually the easiest thing in the world. We are going to lay our image right here this way. And because you can see through it, can you guys almost see the image? It's a little bit more obvious like in person. So we have our image here. We can also flip it this way if you want to, but I find putting the paper down first and then laying the image down this way. And I can see that on film. You may not be able to see, but I can truly see all those pumpkins on there, clear as day. And then we're going to come in. We have a comment. Let's take a look at the comments. Hello, everybody. Craft Express has joined us. Welcome, welcome. So here we have our image. We're going to take, I'm actually just going to leave this out here. This is sublimation tape. So this is heat resistant tape or heat safe tape. This is not washi tape. Whenever you're using a heat press or any kind of sublimation, you always want to use tape that is heat safe. So that way it doesn't damage and it doesn't melt up against your heat press. It doesn't damage your surface. It doesn't melt and get all kinds of stuff. So you guys can see through it. Sometimes from the angle that I'm looking at, like I can see it just fine because this is glass, but I'm going to show you a trick with the other one that you can't see through. So there's always tips and tricks for everything. So this is the wine and cheese board, and Craft Express has put it up. If you're watching from Facebook, you can see it there, but I do have links to go to the Craft Express. They have them on Amazon, and also they have their own website. You can find them there. They are totally, totally awesome. Okay, so now we need to rest this on top of a heat protective surface. So when you get your heat press, you will also get a mat, right? Now, you could, if you really wanted to, heat through this way, but the best way to get any kind of heat transfer is to always flip it over and have the paper, whatever the image is on, make sure that you put it back. A flat glass item, you do not mirror. Oh, good point. Good point. This is an awesome point, and I really want to make sure. Yes, so this is a key thing. We're going to get to this in our next project, but when we lay this down, because you can see through the image, you don't have to mirror, because the part you are going to see is going to be here. it'll make more sense when we do the next project, because we're going to do 2 of these wine and cheese boards to show you the difference. If you have a project that it doesn't matter which direction it goes, then don't worry about it. But if you have a project with words where you're writing words, then it matters. And we'll talk about that shortly. So it may not be like, ooh, but it will be. Okay, it'll make more sense when we do the second round. Believe me, it'll make more sense. Okay, so when you're heat pressing, I always feel that having the paper side up and then your blank on the bottom is much better. I also think that having, my paper got a little wonky. Use yourself, this is not parchment paper, this isn't, but I mean, this is actually a heat protective paper, just to make sure if there's anything, because I've got a little discoloration on here, I don't want to get that on my project. We're going to put a little bit of transfer paper on the bottom just to be safe. Not transfer, sorry, heat protective paper. We're also going to put a little bit of heat protective paper on this side. So you're creating a little bit of a sandwich, right? So the sandwich goes from, well, it's a big sandwich. So we're going to have lots of stuff. So here we have, your heat protective mats, protective paper, your blank, your paper that actually has your image on it. And then you're going to have your protective paper on top of that. So you're creating the sandwich between it. You always want to have something like a mat like this. This mat comes with the heat press that we're going to be playing with today. But for whatever reason, if you're doing like a whole bunch of them, you can always use a towel. There's lots of different mats out there. This mat is perfect. So that's why I just keep using it, because it's awesome and there's no problems with it. And it protects my table. But you do want to make sure you're not doing it on below your heat mat. You don't put anything like, if you've got a surface, if your table is not used to taking heat, your kitchen countertops would be fantastic for that. An ironing board would work too, or a nice wood table. The desk I have here has actually got a laminate on it, and it works great because it's meant to take heat, because it's like a kitchen table laminate. So whatever works, whatever you have. There we go. So it's an expensive hobby. It can be, it just depends. So depending on how much money you want to spend on gifts. So you are making a personalized gift for somebody, and you're making it extra, extra, extra special. So I can't put a price tag on something that's one of a kind, homemade, put your love and thought into it. You can even, so it's ready. You can even put somebody's name on there. We'll show you how to do some words in a minute. Okay. So now that this heat press is ready, it's beeping at me. I'm going to show you how to turn the beep off. Whoops. Getting a little stuff out here. So here we have, and all we're going to do, as you guys can see, is I'm going to push this button, and it's going, and there's my timer. I had it set for 136. So it's almost at 400 degrees. That is pretty good. And we're going to go ahead and heat press this. So we're going to take our heat press. We're going to place it down. Now, I've already set this to go for 137 minutes, which is a little longer than 2 minutes. We're going to do 2 runs with it. And for the first run, I'm going to put a little bit of pressure. Let's get this. I'm just going to slide this so we're back in motion. On the bottom of the heat press, you guys can see, let me change my angle a little bit. So we're a little bit wider, so you guys can see a little more what's happening here. Sorry, bear with me. I got to refocus now that I moved out. All right. Ta-da. So this is the tray that you can leave your heat press in, this little tray right here. So when you are not using your heat press, but you want to leave it on because maybe you're going to do another round pretty quickly, you can leave your heat press in your tray, and it also will allow it to cool down, and then you can store it in there as well. So it protects the bottom of your heat press from everything. All right, so this is going to time down. As you can see, it's going down, down, down. And when it is done, it will beep at us again. So when you're ready for questions, please go over your source for the product. You're on Facebook and can't seem to find a place for that kind of info. So all that information is posted on Facebook. If you look on it's from Craft Express. That's the company we're using right now. Let me show you on the handle. It's upside down, but Craft Express. I'm just putting a little bit of pressure here until it beeps. But on Facebook, if you click see more up at the top of the information, or it could be just below the bottom of the video, you're going to see a whole bunch of information that pops open, and all the links for the stores, for my websites, where to get the freebie file are all listed on there. So if you're watching YouTube or Facebook, they're all there. All right. Hopefully you can find it, Donna. It is there. Just you got to click. Sometimes there's like a little carrot that pops it open, and then it opens up the entire piece of information. So you just have to make sure you click that little see more or the arrow or whatever it is. So this takes, again, a few minutes The second round, we're going to kind of move this off to the side so we can get ready for our next blank. So that way everything can kind of keep moving. You don't have to sit here and stare at me and stand at me. Sometimes sublimation, depending on the product, depending on the surface, depending on what kind of, did you use a sublimation paper? Did you use, you know, what you're putting it onto? All of that information, it's a little bit different for every product or every blank you're going to be using. So just make sure you look that information up per blank based on what the company suggests. So there it is beeping. You guys can see that. So here it's beeping. It's telling me, oh, time is up. So we're going to push the button. Basically it resets. We're going to do one more round. But for this round, I found I didn't have to put the pressure on it. So we're just going to kind of leave it be. All right. So leave a little bit of room for us. We're just going to shimmy this guy off to the side. Not messing with it, so it's not going anywhere. And we are going to go ahead and prepare our next one, which is this guy. This one's so pretty. I love this one. I love blues. You guys know me. I love my blues. So we are going to do this big cheese board while this one is heating over here. So this is our image, but I can't, when I put this over, I can't see if I'm in line or where I'm at. So let's pull out what the other cheese board looks like. There we go. So when you get this one, this is a plain old cheese. Nope, I pulled out the same one again. We're doing 3 together today. I keep pulling the same boxes. There we go. So this is the sublimation cheese board that we're going to be working with right now. Really pretty one. And we are going to open out of the package. You guys can see it's how it's packaged. You're late, but you're here. Well, welcome, welcome. We have lots of amazing people on. So here is, it's nicely bubble wrapped so it doesn't get damaged. And this can be hand washed. I would not put this in the dishwasher due to the fact it's on wood. Now, you can either choose to have your handle go this way. There's lots of different ways that you can do it. And you can also pop this out, which I think is so cool. All right, so when you're ready to wash this, you can just wash this down. Then you can also get into all the little nooks and crevices in here, which is super nice. I love that part of it. So how do I make sure that this gets onto here? So one of the ways I do it is I come into here and I'm like, okay, well, that is my space that I have to work with, right? And so you can take a pencil or a pen. I think pencil is better. Of course, I don't want to have super handy. And I'm actually going to flip this over. So I'm not, well, I'm going to do it this way. I want to make sure I don't see anything. I don't want to have the pencil on the same side as I'm sublimating. It shouldn't be a problem. Oh, and there it is. It's done. All right. So all I'm doing is I'm drawing my circle. And then when I lift my paper up, am I within the frame? And because this is purely centered, I can pretty much, and I've already sized it and checked it, I know I'm good. I just have to make sure I get it right in line. So before this gets too overheated, which there really is no too hot for these, we do want to be careful. This is all nice and done. We are going to turn the button off. There we go. And I'm going to put on my heat glove here in a minute. We're just going to move this off to the side because we're going to use it again in a minute. And it's okay if everything gets a little dark. Don't worry about it. It just means it got hot. You know, paper can burn, and it got nice and toasty for a few minutes, and that's okay. This is very, very, very hot. I would highly suggest this is not for children, this part. They can help pick the design. They can help do all the other stuff. They can even draw if they want to. But this part purely needs to be an adult with a heat glove. All right. Now I'm going to, my heat glove is not as protective as I want it to be. So I'm also going to use this, and we're going to flip this over. There we go. And look at that. You're going to already see the image on the other side. Look how pretty that is. Look how gorgeous. And you can see it already coming through on the other side. And that's purely just from the sublimation printer and the beautiful image. So whatever image you have, that's what's going to show through here. And isn't that just so pretty? I love that. Now, before I pull anything off, this is like piping hot. We're going to transfer this. Sorry about the dog. Over, I have a towel sitting off the side. It's kind of like my little heat towel where everything is going to cool off. So that is where I'm going to transfer this right now. So I'm just going to put this onto my glove right here. I'm not going to take the paper off because I want it to like just cool down naturally. So I just have like a little resting spot. If you want to set this up on like your kitchen countertops, you can definitely have like a cooling place. You have a heating place. You have your prep place. And once you have all your images, it just goes, goes, goes. So let's go back to the other one now. Take my glove off because I don't need it anymore. My sublimation heat press is going to just sit here. I'm going to move my mat for a minute so we have room to groove. There's a lot of options for sublimation. Absolutely, there is. All right, actually, we're going to put this right back because we're about to use it again. All right, so now we have our paper again. And just to make sure, we're just going to take this like that. See that? And I definitely know. And now if I really wanted to, I can go through and I can line up like this. I can also test the corners. There's another way to do it, which is like you make yourself like a little border by running your finger along the edge and go, okay, does that look pretty much right in the center? And I'm going to call that pretty darn good. It's just, there's lots of ways to check. You can draw your pencil. You can do all kinds of things. You can also make little creases to make sure you're kind of in the center. All right, now we need to tape this down. And I'm going to flip this back over because, there we go. I can get the tape to stick to here better because my blank is smaller than my paper. You always want to tape. There we go. I pretty much made my image to go straight smack in the middle of the paper. So that way I knew if I centered my tile, I would be good to go. So tape to make sure it doesn't go anywhere. You want it nice and centered. Now we're going to flip this back over because we don't want to heat. So if you heated from this side through, you're having to heat all the way through the tile to get to the paper and just takes longer and it's a bigger pain in the butt. So for this one, you'd rather heat through the paper and it has a very, very thin layer to get to your surface that you want to heat, that you want to sublimate. Now, looking at my paper here, it's a little dark, but there is nothing on here that's a color. So I can reuse the same protective paper again. And I'm going to do the same thing. We're going to go through. We're going to lay this down, hit my timer, which is set for just a little longer than 2 minutes. And I'm going to hold it for the first 2 minutes. I found that it did work better for this particular scenario to hold it for 2 minutes. And then for the other 2 minutes, it just had a nice good heat set. I didn't feel like on the first 2 minutes or 137 seconds, I just kept touching until I got close to 2 minutes. You can be as exact as you want. It doesn't have to be super, super precise, but if you only did 30 seconds, you wouldn't get enough heat to transfer that image. So if at first you don't succeed, you can always give yourself like a little sneak peek in the corner and go, is it ready? And that's how I knew how long to do it, just by peeking in the corner, going, are we there yet? Are we not? Where are we at with it? And if it looked like it wasn't as good of a transfer, I just added more heat to it. If your image is bigger than the heat press, you can also move your heat press around. And it's okay if you go a little bit longer and some places get more heat. It's totally okay. Is there any other questions you guys have? We're kind of in a waiting period right now where we're waiting for this to heat up. And then we're going to have some real fun because we're going to play with some ink blending on a gel press. It's going to be really cool. And a stencil in case you don't have a sublimation printer. If you have a sublimation printer, sky is the limit about what you can print out. There are so many amazing files. My website has them. So particularly the ones that we're playing with today. So these are the free files. These are all of the watercolor pumpkins we're playing with today. We had the 2 that I showed you at the very beginning. The 2 we're also creating together. We're doing the blue pumpkins with the blue leaves right now. So that's all free over on my website. You don't have to have a code. It's just a free file. But there's a ton of other sites that also have amazing free files. And if you just type in sublimation files, there's a bajillion of them. The key thing is, with the exception of the glass one, which is the wine and cheese one, if you are sublimating onto a blank and you can't see through it, you have to print it out and you're imaged. That's kind of the only caveat. Or don't worry about putting words on it because then it doesn't matter which way the image is orientated. It works either way. So any other questions? Because this is a little different. I got it. Some people don't know sublimation. Some people are like, I got it. This is old hat. But I love the idea of making something to give. And we're going to be going to my in-laws. There's the first beep. I'm going to touch it. So I told you, I just touched that button. We're going to reset this right there. And it's going to go for another 2 minutes. So these are gifts I'm giving to my in-laws. My sister-in-law is going to be there as well with her family. Whoops. It kind of shifted. Everything's taped down, so we should be good. So I have awesome gifts to give everybody for Thanksgiving, and I can't wait to give them. All right, the last one we're going to do is we're going to have some fun. So I have a gel press. This one's really cool. I'm just going to start to get this one out. What sublimation printer If you go to Craft Express, they have an amazing sublimation printer there. I personally don't have one, so I sent the images over to Craft Express. They printed them in-house and then sent them back to me. And they print fantastic. So go over to Craft Express and check out their printers. They are phenomenal. I love them. And that's the printers. That's the images we're working on as the printers they sell in that store. So you can check them out there. They're really, really cool. I absolutely love them. So sorry, just looking at one thing right now. Hang on. There we go. Okay. So I thought there was like another message that came in. So this right here, just got to switch over. This right here is a gel press. It's like a gel plate. And we're going to be adding in our inks. Now, before we do that, because I know we're about to hit time, my dog is trying to squeeze in behind me, of course. Go figure. I want to show you guys because it is nice and cool. I'm going to just put on my glove just to be on the safe side. I want to show you guys the first one we did. We're going to reveal the paper because I feel like it's gotten cold enough. So I'm kind of jumping around. I just wanted to make sure that things aren't too hot or too cold, but we have our board right here. It's definitely cooled off enough that we can remove the tape. Now, once you've used this sublimation paper, you cannot use it again. It is done. Okay. All right. So just keep removing the tape. There we go. And then we're going to do the big reveal. So on the back side, you can see the image on the sublimation side, but it's the front side that is the big wow. There it is. And I believe it's still a little warm. The other one's done. The other one's done. All right, so let's move this guy off to the side while we're getting this one off. So here, this one is done. We're going to hit the button. I'm going to put my tray back. So this is the tray we're going to sit it in, so that way it sits and gets nice and cool. So here is our tray. That is going to cool. And then we're going to remove this. And we're going to flip this over. So I'm going to get my other heat tool. This needs to cool down because, again, this is piping hot. But this is a little test. You can take the little corner and you can go, okay, see right there? See how I can see it's off? It's been transferred from one thing to the other. Let's get rid of that tape right there. So I can see, oh, and I think I can go ahead and pull. Let me use this real fast. Oven, anything from the oven works great. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? Oh, I love that. Let me turn that so you guys can really see that. This needs to cool down, but look how pretty that looks. Isn't that amazing? And since wood can take heat, I'm going to go ahead and slide this into here. Sorry, just getting rid of the paper. I'm going to slide this into here. And it'll just cool off inside this. But look at that. Isn't that just so pretty? And that is purely just from a printed image, which those are for free. You guys can get all these free print images, and then you heat transfer it by using the sublimation printer that you can get at Craft Express, and then heat pressing it with the Craft Express printer. But look how pretty that is. Isn't that gorgeous? And then to finish off the other one, let's move that off to the side. Let me grab the base again. What did I do? Oh, it's down here. This is the base. Getting the plastic off of the other one. I'm leaving all the pieces all nice and wrapped up. And then this is the base of the other one that we did with the other pumpkins. Look how pretty that looks now. Isn't that gorgeous? And we can see through those pumpkins. So simple. Is this food safe? Absolutely, yes. We did mugs. We did glitter mugs. This was back in September. So my daughter and I, we did exactly the same process. We either printed it off, we drew on the paper, we sublimated it to the mugs. And those mugs have gone to the dishwasher so many times, and it's absolutely food safe. So yes, 100%. I would not suggest putting the wood part in the dishwasher or anything, and double check on the standards for the actual glass parts, but hand washing it totally fine. 100% wood safe because you've transferred that over and it's heat set onto the tempered glass and the poly coating. It's absolutely safe, no problems. So really, really cool in that respect, right? I love that. So we're going to put these two. Let's take a look at them again. Look how pretty they are. I love them. Aren't they gorgeous? I don't want to give them away now, but the plan was to give them away. So these ones are so cool. Now, what if you don't have a sublimation printer, but you do have a heat press and you want to have the idea of creating something? There are other options out there, which is what we're going to play with right now. So we have our gel plate. Dun, da, da. And then we also have our inks. But first we need to find out exactly how big we need to draw, because we're going to do this guy again. Now this is the exception to the rule of mirror image. You don't need to do a mirror image for this one because we're looking through the glass, right? Most of the other objects, we're not looking through the glass. I might have to keep this one. I haven't made it yet and I'm already super excited about it. I've been waiting to do this because I'm giddy. I love messing with inks and blending and having fun. All right, so we got to figure out our size. Now up to this point, whenever we've done our image, we've just done an image and kind of kept the center of the wine glass. But for these other ones, what we're going to do, sorry, I'm running out of space back here. We're going to cover the entire wine bottle. This entire side right here, all of this white space is able to be sublimated. Everything, right? Oh, for anyone else struggling with Facebook, find info. It's under the overview tab. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dawn. I appreciate you saying that. Facebook is notorious for changing everything all the time. And before I know it, there's a new thing that's happened. And so thank you so much for figuring that out. Look at the overview tab. Good to know. I'll remember that to tell everybody in the future. They constantly are changing it. Before it was just like a little carrot that you touched, or it said see more, or who knows. They're always changing it. Drives me batty. Okay, so we can sublimate everything that has this white coating. That's the poly coating. So what I'm going to do to make sure I have the right amount of space and I'm good to go, and this is how fancy this is. This is plain old copy paper. Nothing fancy paper here, guys. Plain old copy paper. And I'm going to take the transfer tape. Again, whenever you're doing this, always use the heat transfer tape. Stick with the tape. Don't divert and do something different. Okay, I'm just gonna move this off to the side. And we're gonna, because the reason why I'm doing this, just to show you, is this is too short. I wanna sublimate the entire length of the wine bottle. I don't wanna stick to just this space. I wanna do the whole thing. So I'm gonna make my paper extra long by adding tape. Or if you happen to have like legal size paper, that would work as well. So we're gonna make this extra long. And then now I have my tape. Ta-da! It's okay that it's lifted up because we've taped it down if you want to, because we're not going to be going, we're only sticking in the middle here. See how we're staying in the middle? I can also come in right on the edges here because I know I'm not going to do the edges, and just tape right there because I'm only going to sublimate through here, right? So just being safe. And I probably will only just have a little bit come off to here just to be safe because then I'm working with just one end. Okay, so why did I do all that mess? And why did I get this thing out? And I've just been chatting away. We are going to make a monoprint with these beautiful colors. So I pulled out all these beautiful colors that are autumn. So I pulled out red, yellow, and orange. These are specific iron-on ink sublimation stamps that come from Artistry. They are awesome. Craft Express and Artistry, they work great together because you can get all the products you need to actually sublimate. If you don't want to have the printer, you can do all kinds of cool stuff. So we're just going to create kind of like a water effect in the background here. Oops. We're going to smush it around in a minute. Give me a sec. Now we're going to go in. This was the red. There we go. Probably put too much red. I'm going to add a little more yellow in here. Use my finger here. I know I'm kind of blending over. Look, I'm getting real fancy here, right? And now I'm gonna, you can see, so it's this water brush effect. Oops, I got it on my table. And now we're going to take our paper. I need to grab my brayer real fast, which is of course in a different drawer that is not near me. There we go. So I just have my brayer. It's just to give it pressure. We're going to place this down here. I'm going to start up top. And I'm just going to transfer. We're getting the ink to go from the gel press to the paper. And because I had it on the press, I'm able to like smush it around and get it all kind of cool. Now we're going to lift this up. And look how cool that looks. Isn't that kind of pretty? Not fun. All right. I also want to get some down here. So I'm going to take and do another pass on it right there. And you can do as many layers of this as you want. and have fun with it. You can also play with whatever colors you want. There are 9 different colors of ink that you can get. There we go. I want to add some more color. Whoops, didn't mean to touch that. I'm going to add some more color to this section right here. So I'm going to go right in here. So layer, layer, layer. Totally fine. It creates a really kind of cool background effect. I'm just pulling up whatever color happens to be there. Getting all of it up. All right. I feel like I need, let's see. Now I'm going to test it. So I'm going to have this go right about there. It's going to hit like there. And that should be good. That's plenty. Okay. Now we go to the next step. This is now done. I feel like I've got a really good amount of watercolor happening in the background. I need to find the plasticky thing I stuck on top of there so I don't mess this up, which, here it is. You got to make sure you put your plastic paper back on, or your plastic coating, just to protect your gel press. And then you put it back in the clamshell it came in. It's a really cool product. Okay, now we're going to, and I'm going to do it with the glass side down. I'm going to take a pencil. We're not done yet. We got one more step to go before we heat press. Got to grab my pencil again. I like using pencil if I can find, I have it on my desk still. Go figure. I like using pencil because it definitely will not transfer over. And I'm going to draw on here. And this is going to give me the image that I know I can work within. And I still have my heat press on because this does not take very long to do. This is pretty fast. All right, so now I can see exactly where my image is. Can you guys see that pencil mark on there? It's a pretty, there it is. You can definitely see it right through there. There's my pencil mark, right? All right, from here, I found the coolest stencil. And stencils are awesome for 2 ways. Now, this is where it's a little different for this thing. If you needed, let's say we were going to do the original cheese board. If I'm going to take my image, I'm going to flip it over. I have to have my word facing the direction up. But since I've had to flip my paper over, I need to have, when I transfer my word to my paper, when I'm ink blending or whatever, I have to do the word in reverse. So stencils are easy because all you have to do is flip your image over. But in this instance, because we're dealing with a see-through glass, when we put this image onto here, we want to see through, right? So this is actually how it's going to attach. Well, think about how you're putting your word down. You want to be able to see the word through here, right? I got this to work. There, it's going to be totally sideways. So this is actually going to be going on like you normally would read it. You're not going to be doing it the other way, if that makes sense. If we were, because we're looking through the glass. So when we see it from this side, it's going to be the wrong way. That's what we mean by mirror image. So I need to fit this on here, and it fits just perfectly when I angle it. This is a stencil from Crafters Workshop. And we're going to tape this down, and we're going to ink blend on top of that with the black, of which I just put away. So I have to get my black back out. But first, we're going to tape this down. So I need to grab my washi tape because this is not going to stay on here. We're going to ink blend on top. So we're just going to put a little bit of tape just to hold the stencil down while I'm ink blending the word gather. Now, I actually, you know what? I think I might do brown. It's a dark, dark brown. It's really pretty brown. Just taping this down so it doesn't wiggle while I add my, my ink. And just washi tape works great. I'm making sure pretty much not to go anywhere that will pull up any ink. There we go. I feel like that's pretty good. And of course I put the brown away. Go figure. I thought I had all the inks out that I needed, but no. It's okay, I left it really handy. It wasn't too far. So here's all the inks. I actually haven't used brown yet. So we're going to pull that out for the first time. But here's all the beautiful inks. Super gorgeous. I love them. So let's pop this guy open. Use my scissors here. I'm getting very toasty here sitting next to this heat iron. But we're almost ready. I just don't want to have to wait for it to heat up. And we are going to use some blenders. Now, one thing I will say is that whenever you're using this ink, do not use the same blending tools that you would use if you were going to go stamping or when you're doing any of your regular. Use a separate set of blending brushes specifically for sublimation. So these ones are only for my sublimation. So, and I got ones that were color coded. So this is the brown and I haven't used it yet. Missed it. Where was the substrate from? So we are working with Craft Express. Craft Express is the cheese boards we're playing with and the heat press we're playing with. And right now we are using the Crafters Workshop stencil with the Art Esprit inks to make our surface that we're gonna heat press onto our cheese board. It's gonna be cool. All right, so now we are going to blend. All right, hopefully I answered your question, Addie. So now we're gonna go in. I wanna make sure I only blend right where the word is. So we're gonna go over top the other color. And I wanna do a nice contrasting color that's very obvious. The black. Here we go. And there might be a little bit of color because if you think about it, we're going to be flipping this upside down, but the black is so obvious, or the dark, dark brown, it's not going to have a problem seeing through. But you do have to think about it being backwards. So we're going to hit a little bit of some of the colors. You can kind of see some of the colors. So just go nice and dark, but it'll still be very obvious that it's there. And so we're just ink blending the word gather on top of our watercolor background. We go. So you don't have to have any kind of fancy, I mean, if you want to call this fancy, you totally can. But it's just another way of creating, which I think is fun. Because why not, right? Life is too short to be boring. And ink blending takes no time at all. It goes very, very, very fast. You just take your stencil when you're done, rinse it in your sink with some water and some soap, and you are good to go, and you can use it again. There we go. Look at that. And I chose brown because my other colors were kind of in that same family, the orange, the yellow, and the red. They're all kind of in the same family. If I had done a different set of colors, like if I had done violets and things, I probably would have done a black. So just pick the colors that best fit for what you like. There we go. Got to get it off. I just cut my nails, so I have no nails. And lift up. And now we have the word gather. There we go. And we're right on that edge, like we just squeaked it in there, right? Just squeaked it in there. It'll work. All right, so now we are going to take white side down, place it right on top of where we did our mark. And we're going to tape this down. And make sure that you can see, can you guys see that word gather right in the corner there? We just squeaked it in there, right? It just fits. But there's a lot of other stencils out there. There's a ton of them from a lot of different companies, and they all work really, really well. Some of them are just images. Stay tuned because I'm going to be doing some more fun ones that are more of a Christmas theme, using also the same wine and cheese board. We're just taping this down with some, heat resistant tape so it doesn't wiggle around on us. Here we go. That should be good. I'm going to do two more. I really don't want this wiggling, especially with the words on there. So I'm being extra, extra precautious because if the words wiggle, it's going to look like a hot mess, right? All right. I'm being like really, really careful with the amount of tape I'm using. Okay. So here we go. We have our heat pad. And of course, I've got paint on me. Sign of a good art day, right? We have our protective paper. Now, I'm going to actually grab more protective paper. I'm going to use both of the ones I used before because I have so much ink on here that it's coming. I don't want to get it on my mat. Okay, so I've got extra, extra protection. I am now going to turn this upside down. There we go. Place this here. There we go. And we've got the word gather. So now we can see. Well, now it's upside down because it's the wrong way, but it'll work. It'll work. It'll work. This is the one time you don't have to do mirror image. And I'm going to do a fresh batch of transfers of protective paper. I keep saying transfer paper. I do vinyl work too, and that's transfer tape. This is protective paper. And I, for some reason, always get those words messed up. You always want to use your protective paper because you do not want to get your ink onto your heat press, because then the next time you do a press, it would transfer onto that, and that you don't want to do. I am just going to double check because I was chatting up a storm. I have my white next to my color. So the white is what we're going to see, but the side we're actually looking at is the glass on the other side. So everything looks backwards right now, which is okay. We're actually going to do two separate passes on this because my piece is so tall. I'm going to start this, put pressure on it. So just taking a look at the first one we did, I'm one-handed here. If you look at the length of the heat press, I'm using this as kind of a base. Let me go this way so you guys can really see. So because this heat, because we're going the full length, my heat press is not quite tall enough. I'm going to lose a little bit in the top. I've gone to the top of the heat press. For the next pass, I'm going to go to the bottom. And for the next pass, I'm going to go back all the way up to the top. So I'm going to give it plenty of chance to heat everywhere through so I don't miss any of the ink getting passed through. I'm also going to do a check just to see how everything has been heated up as we're going through. I'm adding a little bit of pressure. I already set the time to be longer because this glass takes a little bit more time and a higher temperature of about 400 to transfer all the images over. So make sure you take a look at the information for whatever product you are sublimating on, whatever your blank is. All blanks are different. The materials don't take as long as the harder surfaces. If they're metal or if they're glass or if they're ceramic, they sometimes take a little bit longer because the heat has to get through to that surface as well and transfer. So just make sure you take a look. All the instructions are on the website and also on the product itself. So a little bit of time. Do you guys have any questions while we're here? We got lots of cool people on. We got Margaret and Addie and Danielle and Donna and Kay. Hello, hello, hello. Now don't forget, all of the products, let me go through and show you them all. So these are the ones we've already done. And if you missed coming in, jumping a little late, we did this one I did ahead of time just to show you guys what it looked like. So that was done ahead of time. We also had this really cool cheese board right here. Awesome one. And then these two we did live together. So here is the other pumpkin we did together. Look how pretty that is. I love that. And then the other wine and cheese with these pretty pumpkins. Look at those beautiful pumpkins. We did all of those together. And there is a free file that you can get on my website. Let me put those up for you. So you can pop over to my website. All four of those pumpkin images you can get as a free PDF. So you can just print it out on a sublimation printer, key sublimation printer. You can make all of these things. All right, we're beeping. Let me pull this off so you guys can see. So I'm going to tap it. I'm going to pick up. I'm kind of holding the paper and I'm going to shift down to get the bottom. I'm going to tap again. It's okay if it smokes. It's okay. You can already see it starting to do its job there. I'm going to add a little bit of pressure. Now we're getting to the bottom of our wine. So I'm I think I lined it up the same direction as this. No, I had the neck down here. So I'm getting more of the neck right now. All right. So all of the images that you saw there, they're all available on my website. You can also get them as PNGs. So that means that if you have a different image that you want to transfer on and not this one, because I've sized it for these products, you can size it to whatever you want. It can go on anything, you name it. As long as it has a poly coating, or if you get it from Craft Express and it says sublimation, you are good to go. Yeah, it can go on mugs, all kinds of cool stuff. Awesome, awesome. All right, let's see what anybody else has to say. Good video. Well, thank you, Donna. I try to be as informative as possible. All right, we got a few more seconds and then I'm going to switch to the top. So again, if you have any other questions while we're waiting for this to heat, and then we'll do the big reveal on this one. It'll take a few minutes to cool down. What would you guys, I'd love to know this, what would you guys like to put on a wine and cheese board? I'm giving mine as gifts to my in-laws because we're going to go there for Thanksgiving. And since it's Thanksgiving, pumpkins seemed appropriate, right? So I love hand making things to give to people. And these are pretty cool handmade gifts. I haven't decided who's getting the wine and cheese and who's just getting the cheese board. I don't know yet. I'm not sure. Have to catch the replay. The replays will automatically be ready to go a few moments after the live is over. So yes, you can definitely check the beginning of the video. Now, stay tuned also to my Instagram because I'll be having a couple of versions, one of each board with a Christmassy idea. So you guys can check those out as well. Artistry is pretty awesome. So you can use the heat press from Craft Express, and there's different sizes of heat presses. There's little mini ones. This is the big guy. There's a medium-sized one, and there's the giant press. There's also the mug presses, the tumblers, if you're into tumblers. There's also the oven, and they also have the sublimation printer to print out all the cool images. All you have to do, like we did at the beginning, print it out, stick it on, heat it, and it's done. It's ready to go. Super, super easy. Hello, everybody who's on. All right, so that is our second time we beeped. So there's our second time that we've beeped. I'm going to push the button. I'm going to hold my paper. I'm just holding down here just so it doesn't wiggle on me. I'm going to slide this up to the top, and I'm going to press again. I'm kind of at the top now, or I'm actually in this section. I'm kind of hitting the middle and then the bottom. Because we did all the ink all the way through, we're just checking now. Since this has got a timer, I'm going to do a quickie check. I'm going to put my glove on first. Heat, don't burn yourself, people. This is super, super hot. So just be careful. The Sublimated ink pads are awesome. They came out a little while ago. I'm just doing a sneaky peek. I can see the neck here. Let me see if we're good. It's good. Can you guys see it? It's starting to color. That is so cool. All right, so this should be good as soon as this is coming through. Yeah, those ink pads are awesome. They're from Craft Express. There's 9 colors, and they work wonderful with all the blanks from Craft Express. I've used them on the mugs. I've used them on, what else have we done? The tote bags. We did some trick-or-treat tote bags back in October or late September. And then we're also using them again on the wine and cheese board. So as long as it says the word sublimation for the blank and also for the ink or the printer or the pens or whatever it is, you can use it all interchangeably. It doesn't matter. I think it's really cool. It's so much fun because it just really opens up your idea for all the cool stuff. And Artistry also has paints, which we played with the paint in the trick-or-treat bags back in September. So take a look at that other video so you guys can see how that stuff works. And those trick-or-treat bags are awesome. We had a glittery trick-or-treat bag. We had a sequin trick-or-treat bag that changed, like the mermaid sequins. And then we had a canvas tote bag as well. And all my kids took their bags. We even made one for the neighbor. She hand drew using the pens. My daughter and her friend were the angel and the devil. So my daughter made herself an angel bag. So she hand drew an angel and we heat pressed it on her bag. And then our neighbor made one that had like a really cutie kind of devil on there with it was just super, super cute. She made it super adorable. And then we heat pressed hers. So they had their matching outfits and matching tote bags and they were super happy. I tried to ask them to get a picture. They're like, no. Sometimes mom business does not work. And I'm like, oh, come on, just let me no. And it was not my child also because it was the neighbor's child to ask permission. So, and she was like, I don't know. So I didn't do it. All right. So we have beeped again. I'm going to tap the top. I'm going to lift this up and I'm going to do a sneaky peek of the other end. This side looked good. Just going to peek the other end. See how we're doing. I can take this paper off. So I'm good there. And I'm just going to look, see how we're doing here. Oh, looks like we're good. It's looking good. All right, let's check the side here. Everything's looking pretty good. Hang on, let me get, it's very, very hot, so I got to be careful here. I'm going to move my, oh, the thing is on the wrong side. All right, let me see if I can get this without. The tape is holding me back. There we go. Okay, we're there. We're there. All right, so we're going to do the big reveal. I'm going to flip this guy over. And we're going to see what this looks like from the other side now. There it is. See it? The word gather. This is why you didn't want to do the mirror image because this is the side that's face up. So now we're going to remove all of our little tape pieces and I'm going to show you what this looks like. Careful, careful, because this is hot. The tape just kind of pulls away if you haven't noticed. There we go. And rest that on there. And because it looks like there's still so much ink on this, unless you want a really, really faded image, you can tell that this is lighter than over here. So we have pulled the ink. You could do a second pass on it, but it would be very faded. So I usually say one time, you're probably good to go. All right. And then that would not be usable anyway. And it's just copy paper, guys. It was just copy paper. It's not like we wasted a ton of money on stuff. I'm going to pull off. It was hot. That was hot. Pull off the tape without burning myself. It's sticking to me. It's sticking to me. Stick to the table, not me. I used a lot of tape, but it didn't wiggle. I tell you what, it did not wiggle. It stayed put. All right, so let me show you on, well, let me just put it on top now. You're going to see through that. Trying to find another surface. It should be good to go. Let me place it on here. And there that is. Isn't that cool? I know I have one more piece of tape right there, but that is just fun, right? So it's going to definitely kind of like a watercolor background with a big word gather. And then that fits into, I'm actually going to pop this out and put it into this tray. This one didn't have any of the plastic, so it won't melt the plasticky bits, but this is what it looks like when it's all said and done. And there you go. Look at that. Isn't that cool? I just got to take that tape off, but it's too hot. So it's like a watercolor background, and then it has the word gather from the stencil, and that is the top. This is the side you're actually going to be, doing your cutting on for all your elements. So I'm going to go ahead and turn, sorry, I'm kind of all over the place right now. I'm going to turn this off. So all I'm going to do to turn this off is touch the button and hold it down until it turns off. And that's it. It's done. And then leave it in here to cool off. Don't remove it. Don't remove it from there. Let it cool off. So this is the one that we made with, let me get all this stuff out of the way. This is the one we made with the gel press at the very end, making our own watercolor. And then the gather came from a stencil. All of the rest of these are from the sublimation paper that we printed, or Craft Express printed on the Craft Express sublimation printers. So here are 2 of the cheese boards, and then here is the other wine board. We also went vertical on this one, and then the other one is down on the ground, but you guys can see this is the other one here. So it would fit into that as well. It's on the ground and it's still covered in plastic. So you can see all the beautiful designs. I'll put that here so you guys can see. And you guys can get the free image, everybody. You guys can get the free images for all of these. They're a free file on my website, and you can get all of the products. You got all of the main pieces. Oh, sawgrass printer. I was having the hardest time remembering what word sawgrass. I was like, that's the printer at Craft Express. I don't know if you guys caught that. Like, it's the one that's there. Sawgrass printer. So all these are printed on the sawgrass printer, which you can get at Craft Express. And the free file, but all of the blanks you can also get at Craft Express. If you're looking for the inks and stuff, those are from Artistry, and then the stencil was from Crafter's Workshop. Are they dishwasher safe? Craft Express, can you answer that? I don't remember reading. Is the glass portion or the porcelain portion dishwasher? I know you can hand wash it. I would not put the wood in there. So definitely pop the porcelain or pull the glass piece out before you wash it. Absolutely. Check the instructions on the website. I forgot to look at that. I'm so sorry. I know all the other products are. So, oh, there we go. Yes, they are all dishwasher safe. Just key thing is pop this out. So this part is dishwasher safe, not this. So just this is dishwasher safe. And then again, pop this piece out right here. Pop that out. That can go in your dishwasher. So there you go. Answered question. I love it when everybody's on. They can help me answer questions. This is the best part of lives. And you can ask questions to me, and hopefully I know the answer. Usually I do. Just didn't know that one. I would say pretty much all of sublimation, as long as it's on a hard surface. But we've even like t-shirts and stuff that we've done sublimation on have gone through the washing machine and done phenomenal. So it's really, really cool stuff. If you've never played with sublimation before, it is such a fun craft and art, but it's also DIY and gifting. And it's a really cool way of being creative to the next level, because it really is fun and cool. So thank you guys so much for watching. Links for all the supplies are down below. Make sure you go take a look at them. Check over at Craft Express. If you've not checked out my channel, Erin Makes, all my links are down below. And also for Craft Express, all the links for their store is down below, and also all of their sites. They have some really cool videos on their Instagram. You got to go check out their Instagram and all their amazing products. Thank you guys so much. Hope to see you again soon. And I will be back next week. Actually, I'll be back on my channel tomorrow. Have an amazing, amazing day. I got to find the button. And don't forget to go vote today. Today's the last day to vote for the 2022 midterm elections, or governor, or whatever elections are happening. I know it's not the presidential one, but lots of elections are happening right now. Go out and vote. Have a wonderful day. Bye, everybody.